Hey guys, here we go again. Read aloud from There's a Boy in the Girls' Bathroom. We are starting on chapter 22, so we're getting further into the book. I feel like it's starting to get really good. Make sure that you have your virtual thinking tracks ready to go. Today, your assignment is to do Somebody Wanted But So. And yeah, make sure you add lots of details in there so that I can really understand what you're thinking. And we'll go ahead and get started. Chapter 22. All week, Bradley worked on his list of topics to discuss with Carla. It's not homework, he kept telling himself. In fact, it's the opposite of homework, because if I think of some good topics, then we won't have to talk about homework. He didn't scribble during class. He listened closely to what Mrs. Ebel and the other kids said in order to get ideas for his list. He took it with him wherever he went. At recess, he kept his eyes and ears open, constantly on the lookout for a new topic. The other kids were meaner to him than they'd ever been before. They were no longer afraid of him. They called him names, and when he didn't do anything about it, they called him more names. A fourth grade boy who wanted to show off to his friends ran up to him and said, "You're not even human. You're a monster. You're a monster from outer space." Oh, the boy ran away, but Bradley didn't chase him. He added 3 new topics to his list: humans, monsters, and outer space. Monday was Halloween. Most of the kids brought costumes which they were allowed to put on at lunch. Brian, one of Jeff's friends, didn't bring a costume, so he borrowed a black magic marker from Mrs. Ebel and colored a circle around one eye. When he came back from lunch, he told everyone he was a Bradley Chalkers. While everyone laughed, Bradley busily worked on his list. It covered both sides of 3 sheets of paper. Okay, guys, don't you feel like it's a little sad everybody's picking on Bradley? I don't really like that. Even though he used to be the bully, it's kind of sad that they're picking on him now. Okay, so here's his list. Trees that lose their leaves, gold stars, chalk, tape. Are chickens really afraid? Why people laugh? What does it feel like to be shot in the leg? Pencils, pencil sharpeners, accidents, coffee, military school, canes, basketball, friends, enemies, hopscotch, dodgeball. 4 square, 1 potato, 2 potato, 3 potato, 4, 5 potato, 6 potato, 7 potato, more, less, nothing at all. What's it like to be in jail? Good boys, bad boys, breakfast, lunch, dinner. Have you ever been to the White House? Who shot my father? Why did he get away? Peanut butter and jelly, gold stars, black eyes, fighting, girls with big mouths. What's it like inside a girl's bathroom? Saying hello, reflexes, hate. When will I be able to grow a beard? Things that smell bad, things you like about yourself, things you don't like about yourself, things nobody likes about yourself, things you don't like about anybody else. Gold stars. Does my head look like a chili bowl? Closets, hiding places, dreaming, bad dreams. I wish I could fly. Kids with glasses, glasses you drink from. Why people like some people and hate others. Hate other people. Breaking things. I wish I was invisible. Crybabies. What happens to you when you grow old? Humans, monsters, outer space. Why is Halloween a holiday? Pirates, princesses, ghosts. What happens when you die? What if you were never born? Can someone else be you? Can you be someone else? If I was someone else, I wouldn't make fun of me. Magic markers. Okay, guys, his list is kind of all over the place, but I feel like some of them kind of seem like he's thinking really deeply about what other kids are saying about him and how he feels about himself. All right, now his list is over. That was 81 things. He didn't go trick-or-treating that evening, though Ronnie and Bartholomew did. The other animals gave them lots of candy. I'm making a list of topics to talk about with my counselor, he told them. Do you have any ideas? How about rabbits, suggested Ronnie. That's a good one, said Bradley. He added rabbits to his list. Bears, said Bartholomew. That's good, too. Claudia barged into his room. Remember, Claudia is his sister. Bradley quickly shoved his list under the pillow on his bed. How about what Dad's going to do to you when he finds out you're flunking, she said. That's a good topic. What are you talking about? Asked Bradley. The list? What list? Oh, I don't know, said Claudia. She slowly wandered toward the bed, then lunged for the pillow. Bradley dived for it, too. But Claudia beat him to it. She held the list above her head and read it. As she looked at each new page, she cracked up laughing. "What's so funny?" he demanded. "Your list. What's wrong with it?" "This isn't the kind of stuff you talk about with a counselor." "How do you know?" "Chalk?" asked Claudia. "What can you say about chalk?" "A lot," he insisted. Claudia laughed. "One potato, two potato. Your counselor's going to be mad when she sees this." "Give it to me." "Yes," she answered, as if he had a question. "Yes, what?" "Yes, your head looks like a chili bowl." She laughed. "Shut up." "Who shot my father?" read Claudia. "How's she going to know that?" Bradley shrugged. Claudia gave him back the list. "You wrote gold stars 3 times," she said, shaking her head. Bradley grabbed it from her hand and looked at what he'd written. "That's the stupidest list I've ever seen," said Claudia. "Your counselor's not going to want to talk about anything on that list." "You don't know her," he replied. "She'll talk about anything I want to talk about. She listens to me. She likes me." "No, she doesn't," scoffed Claudia. "That's just her job." She walked out of his room laughing. Bradley watched her go. Then he added 2 new topics to his list: sisters and jobs. Tears filled his eyes as he tried to think of another topic. He crossed off 2 of the gold stars, then crumpled the list into a ball and threw it in the trash basket. Oh no, that's so sad. Even his sister's kind of mean to him. Well, I mean, that was really mean. She was really mean, just barely. And I feel bad he was trying so hard on his list and then had to throw it away. Shoot. Chapter 23. "Look out! Here comes the monster!" screamed a chubby 4th grade boy. "It's the monster from outer space!" "Ah, it's so ugly!" yelled his skinny friend. "Don't let it touch you," warned a girl with pink glasses, "or you'll turn into a monster too." Bradley ran at them. They scattered and regrouped like pigeons. He sat down to eat his lunch. "It sure is a stupid monster," shouted a 3rd grader. After lunch, Bradley sat at his desk, last seat, last row. He didn't look at Jeff. He didn't look the other way either, at the chart full of gold stars. And he didn't look straight ahead at Mrs. Evel. He didn't look anywhere. It was time to see Carla again. He took the hall pass from Mrs. Evel and walked out of the classroom. He hated Carla. He didn't want to make the same mistake with her that he had made with Jeff. He realized Claudia was right. Carla didn't like him. That was just her job. She was waiting for him outside her door. "Hello, Bradley," she said as she held out her hand. "It's a pleasure to see you today. I appreciate your coming to see me." He walked past her and sat down at the round table. She sat across from him. She was wearing a long-sleeved white shirt with 2 triangles on it, one red and one blue. "Did you make a list of topics to discuss?" she asked. "No, you're the teacher." So you're the one who has to say what we talk about, not me. That's your job." "Well, let me think," said Carla. "Are you sure you can't think of anything?" He shook his head. "I'm surprised. I thought you would have come up with a lot of interesting topics." "Well, in that case, we'll have to talk about school. Shall we start with homework?" "Monsters from outer space," he replied. "Huh?" "Monsters from outer space," he repeated. "You said I could pick the topic. I want to talk about monsters from outer space." "What a wonderful topic," said Carla. "The only way to kill them is with a ray gun," said Bradley. "Regular guns or even hand grenades and atomic bombs won't kill them. You need a ray gun." He stood up and pretended to shoot a ray gun, making a noise that sounded like a cross between a machine gun and a horse. Carla put her hands up to protect herself. "Don't shoot me," she said. "You're a monster from outer space," he told her. "No, I'm not. I'm a counselor." He stopped firing. "Do you believe in monsters from outer space?" She shook her head. "No, but I do believe there are other types of creatures living in outer space. I just don't believe in monsters. I believe that Earth is just one small planet in a gigantic universe. I think there are billions of other planets with trillions of other kinds of creatures living on them. Some are real stupid, and others smarter than you or me. Some are bigger than dinosaurs, others smaller than ants. But out of all those creatures, I don't think there is even one monster." "Not even one?" "No," said Carla. "I think everyone has good inside him. Everyone can feel happiness and sadness and loneliness, but sometimes people think someone's a monster. But that's only because they can't see the good. That's there inside him. And then a terrible thing happens." "They kill him?" "No. Even worse, they call him a monster, and other people start calling him a monster, and everyone treats him like a monster. And then, after a while, he starts believing it himself. He thinks he's a monster too. So he acts like one. But he still isn't a monster. He still has a lot of good buried deep inside him. Who do you guys think she's talking about here? You think she's talking about Bradley? Maybe he thinks he's a monster since all the other kids are calling him that? But what if he's really ugly? Asked Bradley. What if he has green skin and only one eye in the middle of his face and 3 arms and 2 hands on each arm and 8 fingers on each hand? Carla laughed. You and I might think that's ugly, she said, but that's just because it's different from what we're used to seeing. On that planet, that might be considered beautiful. You may have just described a handsome movie star. Bradley laughed. On that planet, they probably would think I was ugly because I don't have green skin and I have 2 eyes. Bradley shook his head. No, they might think I was ugly, but not you. Why, Bradley? Carla said with astonishment. That's the nicest thing you've ever said to me. Thank you. He blushed. He hadn't meant it that way. He hadn't meant it the way it came out. I don't want to talk about monsters anymore, he mumbled. Okay, said Carla. I think we had a very good conversation, don't you? You picked an excellent topic. For the rest of the session, he colored. He took a green crayon out of Carla's large box of crayons and tried to draw the creature from outer space that he had described. He was able to draw the 3 arms and 6 hands, but he had trouble fitting 8 fingers onto each hand. He looked up. Carla? Yes, Bradley? Can you see inside monsters? He asked. Can you see the good? That's all I see. He returned to his picture. He drew a black eye in the middle of the creature's face. He drew a red heart inside the creature's chest to show all the good that was there. Oh, that's so cute. Well, how does a monster stop being a monster? He asked. I mean, if everyone sees only a monster and they keep treating him like a monster, how does he stop being a monster? It isn't easy, Carla said. I think first he has to realize for himself that he isn't a monster. That I think is the first step. Until he knows he isn't a monster, how is anybody else supposed to know? Bradley finished coloring and showed his picture to Carla. He's a movie star on his planet, he said. Everyone loves him. He's very handsome, said Carla. You want it? Asked Bradley. I mean, I don't want it anyway, so you can have it. I'd love it, said Carla. Thank you. In fact, I'm going to hang it on the wall right now. Bradley watched her tack it up. He almost told her she wasn't allowed to put holes in the wall, but he changed his mind. It was time for him to go back to class. I'm looking forward to seeing you next week, said Carla. I hope you have another wonderful topic for us to discuss. He started to go, then stopped and turned around. Yes, she asked. He put his hands on his hips and stared at her. Did you forget something? He stood and waited. Her eyes suddenly lit up. She held out her hand and said, I enjoyed your visit very much. Thank you for sharing so much with me. He stretched his mouth into a half smile, half frown, then hurried out of his office. Okay, so he was waiting for her to shake his hand. I think that's pretty cute because he would never shake her hand before. Okay, chapter 24. Here he comes, said Lori. Don't be a chicken. Colleen bit her bottom lip. It was after school. The 3 girls stood across the street and watched Jeff. Maybe we should wait until tomorrow, said Colleen. Hey, Jeff, Lori shouted. No, Colleen whispered. Jeff turned. Lori and Melinda walked toward him. Colleen lagged behind. Hello, Jeff, said Lori. Hi, Jeff, said Melinda. Hello, hi, answered Jeff. Lori laughed. Come on, Colleen, said Melinda. Ask him. Colleen blushed and looked away. Colleen has something she wants to ask you, said Lori. Well, see, okay, well, stammered Colleen. Quit bothering me, Jeff said very quietly. We're not bothering you, said Lori. Colleen just wants to ask you. Melinda stopped her. Let Colleen ask him, she said. Well, see, said Colleen. Okay, she took a breath. It's my birth. I don't want her asking me anything, Jeff snapped. Colleen turned bright red. And quit saying hello to me, too. We can say hello if we want, said Melinda. It's a free country. I don't want you saying it to me, said Jeff. Don't worry, Colleen exploded. I won't. I will, said Lori. Hello, 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 hello. Shut up, said Jeff. He slammed his book down on the sidewalk. Hello, Jeff, said Lori. Jello, Jeff. She laughed at her mistake. Jello, Jeff. Hello, Jello. She laughed hysterically. And quit laughing, Jeff shouted. She can laugh, said Colleen. You can't tell her she can't laugh. Hello, 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 said Lori as fast as she could. Shut up, screamed Jeff. You shut up, said Melinda. I'm not afraid of you, Melinda, said Jeff. I'm not afraid of you either, said Melinda. Jeff raised his fist in the air. Melinda did the same. Lori shrieked with anticipation. Okay, hit me, said Jeff. You hit me first, said Melinda. No, you hit me first, said Jeff. Somebody hit somebody, shouted Lori. Jeff tapped Melinda's shoulder with his fist. She slugged him in the stomach. As he bent over, she hit him in the nose. Jeff flailed his arms as he tried to defend himself, but Melinda kept punching him in the neck, in the stomach, then in the eye. Jeff fell to the ground. Melinda jumped on top of him, knees first. She sat on his chest and held his arms flat against the ground. Lori knelt beside them and slapped the ground as she counted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Melinda stood up. Lori held Melinda's arm high in the air, holding her nose with the other hand. She bellowed, "The winner and still champion of the world, Marvelous Melinda!" Colleen clapped her hands. Uh-oh, that's not good. Okay. Chapter 25. I'm going to be good, thought Bradley, and then, when everybody sees how good I am, they'll know I'm not a monster. And Mrs. Ebel will give you a gold star, said Ronnie. Bradley was so excited he didn't realize he was putting on 2 different colored socks, a blue one and a green one. He tied his shoelaces, then went into the bathroom and looked at himself in the mirror. His black eye was almost all gone. It had faded into a light brownish-yellowish color. He hurried out to breakfast. His mother made oatmeal for him. I hate hot cereal, he complained. You'll eat what you are served, said his father. This isn't a restaurant. He frowned, not because he had to eat oatmeal, but because he realized he never should have said he hated it. That was something the bad Bradley would say. The good Bradley liked hot, lumpy cereal. He took a big spoonful, brought it to his mouth, and swallowed the glop. Good, he said. But as he withdrew the spoon from his mouth, his elbow bumped his glass of orange juice. Claudia screamed and jumped up. Oh, Bradley, said his mother. His father glared at him. It was an accident, he started to say. It was an accident, but then remembered Carla didn't believe in accidents. That puzzled him. He wondered why he would want to spill his orange juice on purpose. He liked orange juice. It was the oatmeal he should have spilled. Are you just going to sit there, or are you going to help your mother clean it up? Asked his father. He picked up his napkin to help, but his mother told him to stay out of her way. You'll only make a bigger mess, she said. Silently, he finished eating. As he headed back to his room, Claudia burst out laughing. What's so funny? He demanded. Look at your socks, she laughed. He looked down at his feet, then back at his sister, the laughing hyena. Thank you, Claudia, he said. I appreciate your sharing that with me. She stopped laughing and stared at him. He walked into his room, sat on the edge of his bed, and took off his sneakers. Wow, said Bartholomew, you were so good. I would have punched your face in if I was you. He's going to get a gold star today, said Ronnie. Bradley changed his socks, but once again he was so excited thinking about the gold star that he didn't pay attention to what he was doing. He took the green sock off his right foot. He took the blue sock off his left foot. He put the green sock on his left foot, and he put the blue sock on his right foot. Then he put his shoes on and left for school, determined to be good. Gosh, it makes it hard to be good when you've already had a bad morning, huh? Sounds like his dad's kind of being mean to him. His sister's being mean to him. His mom's telling him he's only going to make the mess worse. At least he's still going to try. He walked into class and took his seat, last row. He sat up straight with his hands folded on top of his desk. He tried to hold back his excitement as he glanced at the chart on the wall next to him. Jeff came in and sat down, last seat, second to last row. Bradley saw him out of the corner of his eye, then turned to get a better look. Jeff had a black eye. What are you staring at, Chalkers? Jeff snarled. Hey, you two look like twins, exclaimed Shawnee, the girl who sat in front of Jeff. Turn your ugly face around, Jeff snapped. Oh, shut up, Bradley, said Shawnee, turning around. Bradley looked at the back of Shawnee's head. She still thinks I'm a monster, he realized. But once I get my gold star, then she'll know I'm good. For the rest of the morning, he sat at attention with his eyes fixed on Mrs. Elbow. He kept wondering if she had noticed how good he was yet. As he walked outside for recess, he was almost certain there'd be a gold star next to his name when he returned. Curtis and Doug, two of Jeff's friends, came out of Mrs. Sharp's class. "What's the big idea?" asked Doug. "Hitting Jeff when he's not looking," said Curtis. "Huh?" said Bradley. Doug pushed him. He stumbled backward into Jeff, who pushed him back the other way. Bradley looked around. He was surrounded. "Jeff's our friend," said Robbie. "Yeah," said Brian. "You hit me when I wasn't looking," said Jeff, "and my hands were full of groceries. I didn't want to break the eggs." "Chicken chockers," said Dan. There was a space between Andy and Doug. Bradley dashed through it and ran across the playground. Jeff and his friends chased after him. Bradley looked back at them and smashed into a girl standing on one foot. The girl fell onto the hard hopscotch ground and wailed. "I'm telling, Bradley," said one of her friends. "I'm sorry," Bradley said helplessly, then continued running. He ran up the concrete steps and entered the school building through the auditorium. From there, he walked quickly to the library. "What do you want, Bradley?" asked Mrs. Wilcott, the librarian. "Nothing," he muttered as he sat down at one of the tables. He leaned his head against his hands, propped up by his elbows. "What if Carla's wrong?" he worried. "What if I really am a monster?" "I don't want any trouble from you, Bradley," said Mrs. Wilcott. Yeah, it's definitely making it hard for him to be good, huh? Especially, I wonder why Jeff is telling people that he punched him when he wasn't looking. That's interesting, huh? I wonder why he's doing that. Well, we're going to stop there today at chapter 26. So make sure that you fill in somebody wanted but so and submit your thinking tracks for today. Okay, see you guys.